Welcome to another cycle of Dirty Laundry Clean Confessions, a family podcast created for the next generation. Grandma Smarge can't wait to see what you'll become, Monk and Little Al. Live, pre-recorded from our family laundry room, with Smarge, Haas, and sometimes Otter, and always not the real guest. Here we hang it on the line with everyday ordinary people who are doing extraordinary things. In the room where famous people are loved, adored, and admired, however, not invited. Except for the great Willie Nelson, of course. Thanks for joining us in the laundry room while we fold through life's journeys. Here, we're keeping it real, washing through stains, and making colors a little bit brighter.
Well, good evening, Smarge. How are you?
I'm good, Haas. How are you?
I'm good. How's your laundry going?
Oh, the laundry room isn't finished yet, or the recording studio isn't finished yet. The laundry part of the room's finished.
I can't wait for the podcast where we can say it. The
It's
laundry room
finished.
is done.
Smarge is having a hard time right now. But no, it's coming along. It's coming along.
It's probably been, we were just talking about this, maybe like
We started...
a year?
No, because it feels like a year. We started when we ended our season 1, so that had to have been like...
October.
June?
No, wait. Yeah.
What other podcast are you on?
I don't even know what month it is right now, but the weather is getting cold.
See, I was listening to a
weather.
podcast where you said you liked autumn. I don't think you like autumn, Haas. I think you like summer, and that is it.
I thought I did. I
You
think
don't.
summer is my jam. And
I think it is.
well, the great part about Colorado is you get 360 days of sunshine.
Right.
So like even in
You still can get
January,
your vitamin
you're
D.
still getting
I just think we
sunshine.
need to find a way to utilize outside more when it's so cold. They do in like Newfoundland and places like that.
Yeah.
They're always
Why
outside.
can't we do that?
Well, we're going to. We're going to try.
Should we put the podcast outside?
Oh, we could do it from
The fireplace.
Yeah, the fireplace. We will. We will do that.
That'd actually be really fun.
It could be fireside chats, but they already took that. That's a really... But it could be, what is it? Laundry drum. You know, have you ever seen...
Fire folding and
Fire folding.
fathom. No.
Nope.
Okay. All right.
No,
We're working on
we'll
it.
work on that. Wash and...
Anyway.
I don't know. We'll work on that.
But that's what I love about Colorado is because you can literally enjoy the beautiful weather most times a year. And then you get like one day where it's just a little bit colder and a little bit cloudier, and then I just get very grumpy.
Right. See, and I get happy. It almost feels real crisp in the air.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about how lucky I am to have lived my whole life in Colorado.
Right? And we're
And-
like unicorns to
Yeah.
be able to
Yeah.
say that.
I know. And I've been so fortunate. But then I realized, guess what? I don't really know the history of Colorado
You know,
like I should.
I
I know a little
really
bit about
either.
world history. Well, I think I do. And
being a
then
history major, I would hope you
minor.
would.
Minor.
Oh,
But it wasn't Colorado history minor. So I really don't know a lot.
I don't really either, actually.
So I guess kind of my confession is I've been living in a state I really need to learn a little bit more about.
Well, you know what?
What, Haas?
You're in luck.
No way. No way. Really?
Yeah, because our guest today is actually a 6th generation Colorado native. Welcome, Elle, to the podcast.
Oh, thank
Oh,
you. It's good to be here with you.
welcome.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you.
So 6th generation.
And I don't know that I know all the history, but I know
Well-
some.
We're going to quiz you right now.
Okay.
Okay, no.
Oh,
So what should... But 6th generation, was it in Denver? What part of...
So our family ranch is in southern Colorado.
And is it still a current ranch?
It's a running ranch.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know you had a ranch.
Yeah, and it is a heritage Colorado ranch. So it's been in operation by one family for over 150 years.
Oh, my
Wow.
God.
Yeah, and my great grandfather, 6, I think.
Okay.
That sounds right.
He founded the ranch. His name was Sotelo, and
Okay.
and now there are distant cousins that have ranches around it. So there's a whole
Oh,
compound
wow.
of the family ranch.
Now,
That's
how do they know?
incredible.
Like, do you know them? I mean, it sounds like
Oh,
a
yeah.
huge family.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
but you've all kind of...
5 sons. My great grandfather that founded
Oh,
the ranch.
wow. Okay.
So we're all over the world, really. And he wanted it to go to the oldest son, and then the oldest son, so that it would stay in the
In the family.
in the family and its size, because it wasn't a very big ranch. It's about 500 or 600 acres. I think they've added some acreage to it, but it is a running ranch and
Nice.
has a river that runs through it. It sits under the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, and we were supposed to have a family reunion. We'll have one like every 10 years or so,
Okay.
and COVID happened.
Oh no! Of course.
So
Yeah, we're still not quite over feeling the repercussions of that, I guess.
Right,
It really did
right.
set us off.
So on the ranch is a barn, and it has all the family history, and it's the old barn, the original barn. It has all the pictures and what happened.
Oh, a great idea. Who started that? Do
way.
you know?
Um,
Do you remember?
one of the sons.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
Started it. Just said the barn is not useful to us anymore. Let's just make it a museum of the history of our family.
They didn't want to make a podcast?
No.
They didn't want to knit a baby mobile.
Seems like same thing.
Let's do a museum. Well, that's next.
Oh no! I don't know if I have.
When's the last time you've been
curating
there?
skills.
I took my son there, my youngest son there, probably about 15 years ago.
Okay.
Wow.
Was he pretty impressed?
No, he was a kid.
Oh, he was like, what the hell?
Who's here that I can play with?
Would he be impressed now?
Maybe. Yeah.
She'll have to check
I think
in.
he would appreciate it now.
Yeah, well, we're kind of distant from it because, like you said, my great grandfather moved up to northern Colorado.
Okay.
And worked at the Great Western Sugar Factory.
Oh wow!
And then he decided he didn't like corporate America
175
years ago.
Oh dear.
And so he went and managed a ranch. So he was a ranch manager.
Good for him.
So yeah. So that's how we got to northern Colorado. And then my parents moved to Denver when I was a baby. I was their oldest.
Okay.
And you grew up in Denver then?
I grew up in Denver, yes.
And you're oldest of 4?
I'm the oldest of 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you grew up in Denver. Okay. What's your first memory of downtown Denver?
Well, we lived across from City Park.
Wow.
My parents had
Okay.
they had a little
Beautiful
tiny
spot.
house when my dad was going to school and I was a baby.
Were those the bungalow type houses?
Yeah,
that are
so they
around?
lived in a
Yeah,
little tiny
okay.
bungalow house.
Mm-hmm.
And then when my dad graduated and other children started coming along, then they bought a bigger house, but it was still in Park Hill. So I grew up all around City Park.
Oh,
I
that's
love
neat.
that area.
Yeah, it's a cool
That's
area.
My grandmother and mother grew up on Pearl Street, right off of Alameda.
Oh, yeah.
And they both grew up there.
Because
you're my
third generation?
I'm only third because my great grandma, she came from Italy, and my great grandfather Minich, they came from Italy. So,
Yeah. Okay.
and they had a house. They were in Pennsylvania first, and then they came to Denver because they heard it was better for his asthma. So they came
The dry
here.
weather.
The drier weather would be better for him.
Yeah,
so
but
they
the
came here,
altitude.
and they built a home that's still there on Pearl Street.
That's
Oh my
nice.
They were
Nice.
first
Really?
owners, and yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So, and I grew up in that house as well because my great grandma did not die. I think she may have been easily over 92, so maybe 93, 94. And she lived alone up until the very end.
Oh wow.
So,
Good for her.
in that house. So I got to, spend a lot of time in that house too. So
That's
just
so
neat
cool.
memories. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure you have a ton of them. That's why I wanted to know about what you remembered about Denver.
Well, my mom worked at Rose Memorial Hospital, which is down
which
in
is
the Park
still
Hill
there.
area, when I was a child. Later, she worked at CU Medical, which was on Colorado Boulevard, and she was a research scientist.
Oh wow.
But she had some really cool stuff that happened, but she worked at Rose Memorial. And then she did a lot of specialing, and one of the people that she specialed was the owner of the Denver Post, Helen Bonfils.
Wow. You're kidding.
So she used to come home and tell us all kinds of stories about Miss Helen
Oh, that's so cool.
and what Miss Helen was doing.
Did you get to tour the Denver Post and stuff?
Oh, yeah,
And
as a
everything?
kid.
Oh,
yeah.
how fun.
Yeah.
So do you have any story, like a favorite story
Well,
that's okay to share?
yeah.
All these years later.
And they're all gone now, but Helen would get calls from the White House. There was also a guard there, and he would answer the phone, and he'd say, "Oh, Miss Helen, the White House is on the phone, and they want to run something. They want you to run something in the morning at the Post. And she would tell my mom, would you go talk to him, honey? She goes, I was just going to pull out my jewelry so we could look at it together. So Adelaide Stevenson or one of those guys would be on the phone, and she would say, I'll call them back later or first thing in the morning. And my mom would say, Are you sure? Are you sure? We can look at the jewelry all night long.
Oh, my
And she
gosh.
goes, oh, no, I want to show you some special pieces from my boyfriend.
Oh, no.
So,
Well, there's someone that, didn't let their job and their contacts go to their head, right? I mean, she still seemed
oh,
a
yeah,
woman
she
that
was very down to earth.
down to earth, and no matter.
But they were the family.
Yeah, that's what I was
in
going to say.
Denver.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, because everyone in the West read the Denver Post.
Right.
Yeah.
And her father controlled that for years and years and years, what went in the Denver Post and what didn't go in the Denver Post. And when her sister wasn't interested, May. So Helen kind of took it over by default. And the other time was when she ran away with her chauffeur. My mother said everybody in Denver society was very upset because
The owner of the Post ran away with
her chauffeur.
Well, you know what? Like I said, she seemed very down to earth, and she was just going to follow her dream.
Yeah,
you know?
she could do whatever she
Did
wanted.
she leave the Denver Post, or did she come
No,
back?
she went when she died. Then
okay.
the stockholders and other people took over. But,
okay, so she
but
was in
her
until
and
the end.
her father and her were the Denver Post for 100 years, maybe.
That is neat, and that was your grandmother.
My mother.
Your mother. I'm sorry, your mother.
My mother was the nurse, and she would special.
And the friend of.
Yeah, they called my mother because she was a woman of integrity, and they said,
Yeah.
Helen Bonfils needs a nurse to stay with her at night.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how my mom earned extra money for our Christmas presents and things like
nice.
that. Yeah.
That's neat.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So that's
Hardworking,
that's kind of the best history that we had.
Yeah.
Is mom coming home and telling us stories from the
I
Well,
love
that's
Helen
history.
Bonfils.
That's the news. That's what's going on. I mean,
Yeah.
that's very cool.
Yeah.
And because you raised most of your kids have lived in Colorado most of their lives also, right?
Yeah, we traveled. I lived overseas and
that's
was
right.
a IT project manager. So we lived in Hong Kong for a while. We lived in Saudi Arabia, but we always kept our home here in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when they were little, I tried moving away, but I couldn't. I came back.
Yeah.
And
It's
your
hard to
parents
leave.
were your parents here as well?
My parents and grandparents never lived anywhere
Okay.
else but Colorado.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
wow,
And my
really?
great grandparents and yeah,
Okay. So
we're through and through
oh,
Coloradoans.
wow.
I
Okay.
love that.
Yeah.
It's hard to leave. I mean, it's a beautiful place.
Yeah, it
You
is.
go to like some beautiful places to visit, but I always seem to come back. It's
And
too
people
beautiful.
love it when you tell them that
Yeah.
you're from Colorado.
There is, and they also ask,
And they want
really?
to know
Like you were born
everything
there?
about it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I can't wait to go visit. Or
But
I've been so many
sometimes-
times I love it.
I do still run into the occasional few that really think that everyone has horses here.
oh,
We
yeah.
all wear cowboy
And we all
hats.
smoke weed.
And we all, well, a
I
lot
mean,
of-
I don't smoke weed.
Yeah.
well, I
smoke-
smoke for you, Haas.
You do. You
I-
smoke enough for the rest of us.
I'll smoke for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We appreciate
Because I like it. I think
Yeah.
weed saved my life, but that's another podcast.
Yeah.
And it's still saving my life and everyone around me
I mean,
that I
it's a
love.
beautiful drug. I completely approve of it. But
But even before the weed, it was always like, do you have a horse?
Mhm.
Do you wear a cowboy hat? Why aren't you wearing your cowboy boots?
Where's your cowboy boots?
Yeah.
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 And
They didn't think we were very sophisticated
No,
and that
they
we
didn't.
were. And I had some people that moved here and they said that they were going down to the theater. You know, used to be just Helen Bonfils Theater down there, but now we
Right.
have lots of theaters
Right.
there. And they said, oh, we can wear like shorts and whatever because it's just Colorado. And I said, a Coloradoan wouldn't go to the theater
in
the
shorts.
No way.
No.
And my secretary said,
they'd go in their hat and boots.
yeah, yeah, that's what they think. And my secretary says, don't they know that we can wear velvets just like everybody else?
No, they don't. Well, I think they do now, but I think it was something
Yeah.
that's first thing that people would think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
We are a very casual state for the most part. I mean, we do wear less. I don't know. Maybe it's just like the girls I used to know who would come to Colorado and they'd want to go out and they'd look all beautiful.
Yeah.
And I'd say every girl at the bar is going to wear a flannel and jeans.
Well, it was
So
funny-
You're going to stand out like a sore thumb, but that's what
I've
they
been taking
wanted.
Pilates at this place just down the road for, gosh, like 20 years now.
Yeah.
And there used to be this guy that would come in, and he was from the East Coast, and I'm not sure. I want to say North Carolina, but I'm not positive. And he decided he was moving back. They were moving back to the East Coast, and the lady that owned it said, "What are you going to miss about Colorado?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm going to miss a lot about Colorado. He said, but do you want to know what I'm not going to miss? And she's like, sure, what? And he goes, every woman just looks like she's ready to hike a what do they call them, a 4K?
14er.
14er.
Yeah.
Like, they're always in,
yoga pants.
and forget the high heels and the fancy heels. But granted, this man was 94. Okay, so he had a vision in his mind of what women should look like.
Right.
He goes, I'm just not going to miss that. I'm going to be happy to see women dress up more.
Yeah.
And then
that
I thought,
hasn't always been that way.
No.
Like my grandmothers wore dresses.
Yeah.
And, pretty jewelry. And they were always, and my mother and father it took them forever to get on a plane and look casual. They were always dressed up.
Oh,
Yep.
well, that
Yep.
was the thing, right?
Yeah, that was a
When
big
you first
deal.
started flying, everyone dressed up to fly, right?
Absolutely. You wouldn't go to the airport in your pajama bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
Just
like
wouldn't.
you do
Their
today.
pajama bottoms.
I mean, that's what I've seen today.
Oh,
I mean,
everyone, yeah.
I get wanting to be comfy,
all those
but
young yipper snappers are doing that,
dress up a little bit out
Yeah,
there.
come on.
Maybe they're not up on their laundry. Maybe they need some laundry
that's
tips.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe they get behind and
Listen up, kiddo.
yeah.
Do your
Yeah.
laundry.
Are in
before
the
trip.
laundry.
Oh dear. Anyway, back to what's
Yeah.
are the questions from our 6th generation?
Well, do you have any like family traditions that you've been passed on and that maybe you want to pass on to your kids and to their kids? I mean, is there something that as a Coloradan that you've done every year during the holidays or something? I don't know. Some traditions that you've kept
We
alive.
did have some that have kind of gone away, but that's because the places have gone away. So it used to be in Denver that there was a big, huge ice skating rink called Zeckendorf.
Uh-huh.
It started during the holidays. You either went to Zeckendorf and then you went to the Denver Dry Goods and you had high tea.
Oh, okay.
Oh my
right,
gosh,
yeah.
how
Uh-huh.
fun.
Yeah. And so when my daughter got married here in Colorado, she got married in Golden. I tried to kind of keep that tradition going. So I took all of her bridesmaids who were in the Army, and she was too. And I thought, oh, they're going to love this. They're all girly girls, but they're in the Army. I'm
Right.
going to have them get dressed up, and we're going to go to the Brown Palace.
Don't say the brown palace. That's where I took all 4 of my daughters when they turned 16.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I love that.
the high tea.
And we would
Yep.
spend a night and yeah. Oh my gosh. So
So the Brown Palace
I want to hear your
is-
story. So you did this with them. What did
Yeah.
they think the
Oh my
first
gosh,
time?
they had we had so much fun because they were from all over the world,
Right.
her Army buddies, and we were going. And everybody thinks of Denver as a cow town, and it's not a cow
it's
town.
not at
Yeah.
all. No.
There's lots of things that, Daniels and Fisher's Tower. My mom knew him. She specialed him, and he gave me a doll that looked like me.
Oh, wow.
And so there was lots of. It's a more like understated sophistication,
Yeah, I agree.
where we don't go around and say, oh, this is like, I don't want to sound jaded, but this is like the way you do it in the East Coast,
No,
Right,
I'm
right.
with ya.
And a Coloradoan would look at that and say, well, we do it a little bit different, but we don't brag about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't make anyone feel
And
uncomfortable.
you don't make
Right.
a big deal about it.
That's what I
Yeah.
usually say, but
Yeah.
we really try not to make our guests feel uncomfortable like you're
Right.
making
Yeah.
me feel uncomfortable right now. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great way to look at it. But
Yeah.
how
And
so,
kind of
so
understated
you were able to
elegance.
do that with them quite a few times, or
Well, Kateri by that time has grown up and she was in the Army. So I just got
Okay.
to do it with her and her friends
Right.
once. But I've done it many times.
okay,
Like
okay.
with friends
Oh,
or
good.
family.
Okay.
You go
Hello,
down to
friend.
Yeah.
I can't wait to meet at the Brown Palace.
I know. That'll be our next luncheon.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's, and then there used to be a really cool little theater on Hooker Street. I don't
Oh,
know if you
yeah?
know where Hooker
I
Street
actually
is.
do
It's
know
in
where
the
that
old
is.
Italian district.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I have to tell you, my uncle Tony had, I think he died at 92 as well. It was off of Colfax, so just north on Hooker Street. Very bottom of the corner was kind of a steep hill and steep going up. He had that home. They had it built, and he had that home until my youngest daughter, she was 2 when he died, so and she was born, so 2000 he died. And he had that house until 2000.
Wow.
And it was on Hooker Street, right off of Colfax.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So the Hooker Street Theater was in a house, and it was in the basement.
What?
And that was the first time I saw the Rocky Horror Show. And I said,
Oh my gosh! How
this
fun.
is like the coolest thing. And that theater had been there forever. And I was like, and I'm just now hearing about it.
Oh
And
my
where
God,
was
how
it in
fun.
relation to Colfax? Was it would it have been more? On
would
the
have
south
been
side?
more.
South, north, south.
I think it would be south, but just a
South?
few blocks. It's in that area. It's in the old Italian
yeah.
district.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
How fun. Is it
That
still
is
there?
hilarious.
I don't know. I've always wondered about
Yeah,
that.
is that
We should look
still
into that. 'Cause
there?
I would
Yeah.
love to go to a show.
Yeah.
That would be
Sounds
hilarious.
amazing.
And you had to kind of know about it. It wasn't like
The
a
one that-
speakeasy.
That's what's
but-
kind of cool. It's like someone's basement. You have to
Yeah.
have,
The
like,
Rocky
you-
Horror
and it was
Picture
really
Show.
beautiful.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
The theater that was big for this area when I was in high school was on Sheridan.
Which one was
Sheridan, and I can't even remember the name of it, but it was Sheridan. Just
Do you remember what it was called?
no, it's in a strip mall. You wouldn't even know it was a theater almost. I think they only had 2 theaters in it.
that? Yeah, but they were all over. And they were like so much
you
fun.
went on- yeah, they were. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun back then. There's the old theater house for sale on Colfax.
Oh, yeah.
On the corner, and I'm like, we got to go back. That would be a great venue just to do whatever. I don't know.
I know. Wouldn't that be
We-
fun?
to restore it and everything. That was
Do
just. But we never went
podcasts.
back and looked at it. But it's probably still for sale.
Probably.
It didn't look like it was in good shape.
And because of COVID, a lot of great restaurants closed in Denver that had been there for like 100
You're right.
years.
Yeah. Just so sad.
Yeah.
Well, Casa Bonita's coming back.
I know.
Oh, I can't
Which
wait.
is
Have you
hilarious.
been yet?
No, but my sons gave me a plaque. They took a picture of a plaque there. My brother was the first diver at Casa Bonita.
No
Oh my gosh!
way.
In 1973, he was
First
the very first diver.
Diver.
He's called me twice, and he goes,
She might be famous.
"Where is
We're gonna have to
exactly
look at
is
this.
my plaque at Casa Bonita?" I said, "I don't know. My sons took a picture of it. I just sent it to him like about 2 weeks ago, and he keeps calling me and asking me exactly where
Oh
it's at."
my goodness!
That is so cool.
I
That's
know, isn't that funny?
hilarious.
Oh
That
my
is,
God.
gosh.
You
So your
actually
family
might
is
be
so
famous.
integrated into Denver.
Oh yeah,
You
well,
know, so integrated. That is
and
so
we're
cool.
so lucky to have like just different things pop up. You know, like
Right.
who has their mother
And-
work for Helen
And
Bonk
you
Days.
also have an extraordinary part of your life where you've been around the world and lived around the world.
Yeah.
Did you always feel like a part of your heart's in Colorado, though? Or
Oh,
did-
always. Sometimes I would be teaching a class. I was a project manager, so I was teaching a class in Kuwait on project management. And I'm sitting there waiting for everybody because I didn't know in the Middle East that when you say the meeting is going to start at 10 o'clock, that means like maybe 10:15, 10:30,
10:30.
quarter to
Oh,
11.
so I
But,
need to go
yeah,
to
I'm-
Kuwait to fit in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then they might bring the tea card around.
Okay,
While
that's
you're waiting.
definitely, but no
so
alcohol
I'm sitting
there, I
there.
don't think.
No,
No weed
Kuwait.
there.
No, Kuwait is okay.
Weed?
Yeah, you can get anything in Kuwait. So I would be sitting at the table and I would say, "How did a little girl from Colorado end
Yeah,
up
that's
here
extraordinary. See,
teaching-
ordinary people doing extraordinary things. That's what I'm saying.
teaching project management to the ministers of finance in Kuwait?"
Oh wow.
With being a
That
mother.
must feel
With being a mother.
so cool.
Yeah, my youngest son was about 12 or 14.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's
right.
when you were in Kuwait? Or
Yeah.
when you
Well, he was in Saudi, as I
Oh.
had to travel back and forth. So amongst all of this, I was living in
so-
Kuwait, and my family was living in Saudi
Oh my
Arabia.
god.
So I
sounds
flew
so
into
hard.
What
Saudi
was that
Arabia
like?
like 20 times.
What was
all
Saudi
by
Arabia
myself.
like?
Oh, crazy! Like biblical,
Literally.
literally. You can
Really?
see. You
And
can
what year
see
was this?
tents. Well, my youngest is now in his 30s, so he was 14 then. So whatever that is, like 18 years ago.
Yeah.
So
It was
early
right
2000?
after Iraq fell because we were there for the bombing of Saudi in Riyadh, Saudi
way.
Arabia,
okay.
when
Wow.
when they were bombed.
Wow.
And my older son came into my bedroom and he said, "That is not a thunderstorm." He said, "Something serious is
Yeah.
happening."
Something's going on.
And so I went out to the front door and you could just see smoke all over Riyadh.
Oh my
Oh,
god. No
Yeah.
way. Did you have to evacuate? Did you stay? What did you do?
Well, we stayed for a little bit. We're crazy. But there was a big meeting among all of the Americans deciding if we should leave, if we
so
should
you had
go.
like an expat community.
oh, yeah,
kind of?
big,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. We lived on the Arizona compound, which was all Americans.
Oh, okay.
cool.
Okay.
And the embassy was on the other side of Riyadh, which was very scary.
Well, I don't
And-
think I'd want to be right next to the embassy. If
well,
people are
you
gonna
want to
be
be
bombing.
close by.
I don't
Yeah,
know though.
I would
It's-
go there and I would tell the Marines, "You can come over to dinner anytime you want to, but just remember where I live. If anything happens,
Right. That's a good
my
way to look.
boys get out first.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
I just always, with the embassies, like when I book hotels overseas, I'm always a little hesitant to be right next door to one, just in case there's an angry other country, right?
Yeah, you want. I mean, I always want to know where it is and be relatively
That's the
close
way
to
I
it,
am.
though,
I wanna
in
know where
case
it
there's
is.
an emergency.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get it. You don't want to be right next door, I guess.
And there was this one specific time we were in London, and we're pulling up to, and I look over, and I cannot remember what country, what embassy it was, but it was right there. And I was like, Poppy, we've talked about this. And he's like, it's fine. I can't even remember what country it was at this point. We're in the lobby, and it was one of those real fancy new ways of checking in, like they're all on their little iPads. But there's not a real specific desk. There's just kind of desks here and there, a real new wave looking thing. There's an art show going on downstairs with a bar. And we're just trying to check in. And all of a sudden, I just look up and I see this mob. It felt like 3 or 4 really big people pushing someone else. And they separated Mick and I. And I'm like, oh my God, we're going down. Something bad is happening. And they separate us, and they're sorry, Mom, but they're real like, sorry, Mom, sorry, and they're separating us, and everything will be fine. As I look up, and I'm short, so I can't see. As I looked up, now I'm going to forget his name. It was one of the Rolling Stones. He had just recently died.
Wait, is that
the drummer.
Oh, I know who you're talking
Brian,
about.
I feel so bad. I just spaced his name.
I know, I did too.
Woods.
Oh yeah, Ronnie Woods.
What? No, he's still
Yeah, he's still alive. Ronnie Woods is a bass guitar.
Anyway, he had the real gray platinum hair. He was always on the drums. Anyway, I guess Martin Scorsese had just come in and was there when they were working on a project together. But the first thing I thought is, I'm so upset with you, Poppy. We had an agreement, and now we're separated, and we're all dying.
Look what you did. The world is ending.
And it was the Rolling
It is
Stones.
scary when that happens in a foreign country. That happened to me once in Italy.
Because I already
kind
of had that fear, right? And then these big guys, and it was obviously very serious, but Jesus, they didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're all okay. And but by embassy, but then you want to be close to an embassy when you're traveling as well, right? So it's kind of
you want to know where it is.
You always look up where it is.
And you want to know how they can help you. One time my passport was running out of pages and I was in Riyadh and I had to go to the embassy and I said, my passport doesn't have any more pages. And they said, oh, we can sew some more in for you. So they took my passport and they used like a special thread and special paper.
Is that legal and that's okay?
Yeah,
well, you're
no, it's an embassy does it.
You can add more paper. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't get that paper because it has like the American Liberty, the Statue of Liberty and odd things like that.
Yeah.
So no, they can do it because they're the embassy. You can't have it done anyplace else, but only at an embassy.
Could you wait for it? I'd be afraid to leave it.
No, I didn't leave it.
Okay, you just waited for it.
Yeah.
So after this bombing, how long did you stay?
Probably another 4 or 5 months.
Oh, wow.
Because I was still working in Kuwait.
But if you wanted to leave, did you have that option?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
It wasn't like you were at the company. It was like, no, you have this contract. And okay.
So no, something happened, and I said, okay, it's not safe for us anymore.
And
I said,
you made the mom decision.
I get my kids out of there. That's
Mama Elle. She made the decision, and we got to go.
So then where did you guys go after that?
Home.
Oh, you went back to Colorado?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some of the project teams from around the world came, and we did some work from my house.
Now, you also lived in Hong Kong?
Mm-hmm.
What was that like?
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
It was, it was the first time I lived. I had been to Hong Kong before, but it was the first time I had lived in another country.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So it was like...
It's transition.
Did you have children then?
Yeah, the children came.
Okay.
Yeah. My youngest went to a British school in Hong Kong.
Oh, that's where he gets that dapper accent when he wants, huh? Because sometimes he can really put it on.
That's where it's from.
That's where it's from.
Yeah. He didn't like it. He said they gave him brown rice and chicken for lunch every day.
Wow.
But I think it was a great experience for him. I think that he became a very international person.
Have you guys talked about it lately?
No, they don't. The boys don't like to talk about it. They never tell anybody for all the places that they lived. And
I was just wondering if now.
All the time.
I was just wondering now if they would say thank you,
Well, maybe
Mom.
because you're his friend. No, they never say that.
Boy, they will eventually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you need to renovate your laundry room? Do you need a carpenter? go ahead and call Arlo Carpentry. Arlo Carpentry will serve all your woodwork needs, from woodwork to wood stock. Arlo Carpentry, serving the greater Denver metro area for the past 13.5 months. Arlo Carpentry, we're gonna nail it for ya.
Have you heard it from your daughter? Any like thank yous? Thank you, Mom, for doing. I'm just now starting to hear a few like.
It takes a while.
I mean, just little. I mean, I'm talking like, thank you, Mom, for letting us be vegetarians for a week that one time, or you know what I mean, or thank you for They're little
Yeah.
things, but at least they're kind of
it
thank
makes
yous.
a huge difference. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they do appreciate it. And again, it's that kind of that understated elegance. I've seen people ask them about some of the things and they said, oh yeah, I went to South High School or I went to Bear Creek or something like that.
That's
And
really
I was like,
neat.
but don't you want to tell them that you went to like this school and that
In
school
Hong Kong and
and Saudi Arabia?
Yeah.
And but they don't. And
I have to honestly say,
They
say
probably
the
don't
very
wanna
first
brag.
time I
Yeah.
ever sat down and met your son, your youngest, and spoke with him, he did share all that. I mean, he shared a
He shared
phenomenal
all that
amount
with
with me
me
that I
too,
was like,
yeah.
wow.
he must have been comfortable with
Because
it.
I knew that this kid and his sidekick, youngest son of Ella, could be trouble. And then you should have saw the look on my face when I realized they had broken in to the home and were dating two of my daughters. But granted, this is all years later. I mean, everybody had been out of high school for I don't know how long, for like 5 years or
They
something.
did a lot of growing up.
That I was
from high
like,
school.
oh, and I put it together one night like, oh my God, you're not and you're not the friend of and yeah, we are. And I'm like, you infiltrated.
Yeah.
How did this happen?
Marge
I
didn't
have to be
want-
careful for what you say. you
I know. But it's like, oh my gosh. But they've grown up quite a lot, and I'm very
Yeah,
impressed
and they're
with them.
very
yes.
wonderful gentlemen now, and they're very respectful.
So, and I can tell you, your
but-
youngest anyway, and you know what, your oldest has also shared with me some stories earlier on. So, I don't know why moms are the last to know, but good
Yeah.
job, Mama Elle. Good job.
You did do a great job, I think. All
And
your
what is
children
that like?
are
So, and your
very,
daughter,
very successful and very great
you
people.
have 3 kids, and
Yep.
talk a little bit about. Well, you have talked about what your daughter does,
Yeah, she was Army,
right?
and she was military intelligence, and she was a linguist, and her language was Arabic.
That's
which-
so impressive.
So she wanted to protect the world,
Believable.
not from any particular group of people, but just to be able to know
What's going on.
and know what's going on,
Yeah.
and be able to tell the people in the hierarchy of the Army
Mm-hmm.
how best to handle things.
Right.
So she was on a UN peacekeeping mission.
Please share with us, if you don't mind, how long it took her to learn Arabic, which is, I've heard,
very
is
impressive.
very complicated language. It's
Yeah,
there
it's
with
called
Chinese.
a class 5. So you would have to, you could compare it to maybe Russian or
Okay.
Mandarin Chinese.
Yeah. Okay.
Or even English. Isn't English technically
No,
one of the
is
hardest
it?
languages?
Yeah, but we know it, so it's
I know,
not
I'm
her
just
first.
saying
Yeah,
It is
is.
also one of the hardest
Oh,
languages.
Yeah, 'cause
okay.
we have so many little nuances to
Right.
the English language, whereas some of the other languages are
There you
very,
go. We
very
hadn't heard that all
regular.
night. I was starting to worry. You enjoy that, Haas.
It's about time.
So it took her 18 months, but they were in a very special school. It's run by the Department of Defense, and so spies,
Yeah.
Wow.
Army, Air Force, Navy.
So how long did it take her?
18 months.
That is
Unbelievable.
so
And she called
impressive.
me once crying, and she said, "To pass, I have to speak, write,
She had to hear it. She had to be able to translate it, speak it, write it. Yeah.
Oh God.
And she says, and I have to know all the economics of that particular culture. And she said, my degree was in economics. And she said, do you think I could do that? I said, I think you can do it. And don't put like a lot of negative into
Right.
it.
Right.
She can. Yeah.
And I said, but I said, good luck.
Good luck,
But it's
favorite
all-
daughter. But
it's
I know
all-
you have my support.
Yeah, it's
I will
all
be
like
sending you.
native speakers. They don't
Right.
learn secondhand.
Okay.
All of the people in this school
That's their.
that they learn from native speakers.
Okay.
And they have to have, been generational native speakers so that
Yeah.
they have the the dialects. And she
Right.
also knew 3 dialects of.
Oh my God. that
Wow,
is so
that's
impressive.
amazing.
Your-
That's amazing.
Your daughter is so impressive. But it also, I mean, it makes sense because I think you're also very impressive. And it sounds like your grandmother or your mother was very impressive. And because I did hear
You know,
too that
all
you
of a
guys.
sudden, I don't think of that. I always think of myself as a mother,
Right.
a
And mothers
grandmother,
are
and I had to
impressive.
do what I had
but
to
you're
do.
But
so
here you
much
are,
more
a
than
mom, and you're having a career, you're supporting your kids, and you're taking them with you. And I've met all 3 of them, and they're wonderful.
They're amazing
wonderful.
people. I love every single.
It was
one.
a privilege to raise them.
Oh.
It
But
really
you did
was
a great
privilege.
job. You really did. They're so great.
Yeah.
Like, what is your secret? How did you?
Well, first, let's talk. So we've talked about favorite daughter, and then we've talked, but we haven't talked much. Like, what does your older son do?
Hey,
The middle.
that's a good question. I was an IT project manager. That's how I traveled. And he told me he never wanted to have anything to do with computers. And that's what his business
Well, there
is.
you go. There
That's
you
what
go.
his business is. He
Thank you, Mom, is what I think you
IT.
need to hear. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute, though. But has a great family and is just a great guy.
human.
Yeah,
He's
great
really
human.
A
yeah.
genuine human.
I know.
And
He's
yeah.
my psychologist. My
Oh,
youngest son is a
he's your Haas.
psychologist. But my
He's your Haas. A mind of reason for you.
yes. When I go
Nice.
crazy, I and he goes, "Oh, mother, let's back up again. You gave me a lot of
Aw.
information."
He slows you down.
He
There you
slows
go.
me down.
Yeah, that's
Calms you
nice.
down. He's
Yeah.
a peace of mind. Oh,
I
that's
try
great.
not to
I could
bug him
see
too
that.
much.
And then
Yeah,
that,
he has a lot on his plate with his 2 little girls, but
yeah.
Yeah.
that's good.
And then that, the youngest one of yours, kind of the favorite of mine, I guess.
He might
So,
be my favorite too.
what's
Only
he
'cause
doing?
I've known him the longest.
He works for an international company and he's a psychologist. He got his master's in psychology, organizational psychology.
Right.
So
That's- yeah,
And
so impressive.
I mean, they're all, and it was so nice to meet your daughter. I got to finally meet her and her husband and your 2 granddaughters at the wedding that
Yeah.
we had in August.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just feel fortunate that I've got to meet all of them now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
they're a lot of fun.
and they were all
And they're
raised in
all
Colorado.
So different. They
I mean,
all have very
Colorado was
different
their home.
They all have
Yeah.
very different personalities.
Yeah, that
Yes.
is true.
Yeah. They're very different.
So what's
The
your
one thing that we all agree on, and we've done it a few times, is when we were overseas. Like I remember one time in Germany, we went to an underground nightclub,
Oh my gosh.
and we can party with the best of them.
Oh, well, good.
I'm-
You hear
And
that?
was so much fun.
That is
Sure you
good.
Because I
That's fun.
like what do they call that music? Techno.
Uh-huh.
And
There
that's
is a
what-
lot of that, especially in, you said you were in Germany?
Yeah. So
yeah.
I wanted to go see a techno band, and they said, "Well, this is where you have to do it."
Wait,
And-
how old are the kids at this point?
Well, okay.
Well, her
Yeah,
youngest
love
and her oldest are 16 years apart.
Yeah. So the youngest couldn't go with us.
Right. So the
Darn. I'm
Yeah.
sure we miss. I'm
I'm
Oh,
sure he's
sad.
made up for it. I'm
Yeah.
I'm not worried about him.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
not
he's
worried
made
about
up for it, but he was always kind of angry about that. He said, "I can
Aw.
hardly wait till I can go with you guys dancing."
Oh.
He's a great dancer, so dancing
is
with
a
that
dancer.
thing, yeah. So, yeah, that was like I'll never forget that night. It was
Oh, that's neat.
unbelievable.
That's
so
neat to be
cool.
able to share something like that with your kids too.
Yeah. A lot of parents
And-
can't say that they have gone to a disco bar with their kids.
Underground
Underground.
Underground,
In
yeah.
Germany.
in Germany.
Yeah.
I had taken
Amazing.
my 2 oldest to a Rolling Stones concert that was in Denver on a Thanksgiving.
Did you?
And they, I think, were in junior high age. So.
That would be cool.
And
Wow.
I thought it'd be the coolest thing. We get there and we sit down and we're looking down because it's kind of looking down at the stage. And I can't remember which one of them said. I said, "So what do you think?" And she's like, "I've never seen I've never seen so many bald heads and gray hair in my life."
Was that your second oldest daughter?
I think it might have been. It does sound like her for
Aw.
sure. And then by the end, I'm like, "Oh, maybe I made a mistake. They're too young. They're not going to get it." You know, I can tell you by the end, Mick Jagger delivered. He impressed
I'm
to where
sure
they
he
remember
did.
it now, and they're just like,
I'm sure
Yeah.
you did.
"This is great."
That would be awesome.
That would be so cool. I don't think because when
So,
you're
but
that
you,
young,
when you get to share things
don't-
like that, it's
when you're
fun.
that young,
Yeah.
you don't realize how cool that is and how embracing
Right,
that is and
right.
what impact that's going to have in your life. But now I know I can guarantee they remember that.
And
They're
look,
gonna
they're
remember that
both-
for the
and they're-
rest of their lives.
And they're both die-hard concert goers,
Oh,
like
they are.
shows.
That's
They're
probably where it
always doing
started,
their
to be
music,
honest.
and also give credit to their dad.
Mhm.
He was always showing them different genres of music and all of that. So
I
they
think that's
loved
the key is
none-
to have
and-
different genres.
yeah,
and to
yeah,
appreciate
exactly,
music on all different kinds of levels.
exactly.
I think that adds to your intellect.
Oh, definitely.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Music
you can't
is
just listen
music's
to one
a huge
genre.
part of,
Yeah.
for me anyway, a huge part of life. 'Cause
Life.
it
Yeah.
can really help.
And
Yeah.
it brings
It can make a
people
difference.
together,
Yeah,
you
and it
know?
makes a difference, and
It's how
dancing
you make
makes
friends.
a difference. Yeah.
and- Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
But no, I'm really curious because I've always been, I'm a huge fan of all your kids. I've loved your youngest son I've known him probably longer.
Way
I've
too
known
long.
longer than I've known your daughter.
Mhm.
No longer than I've known you.
Well, we're gonna have to. She's
I
not
didn't
gonna like
know
us
that.
for that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've known him since I was probably 10 years old.
Wow.
So he's been my older brother for me for a long time.
Yeah.
And he was there for my brother when, he needed someone. So he's been a part of our family for a very long time. And I'm very grateful of that. But meeting your other kids too has meant a lot to me too, because I got to see how your youngest was brought up and how, who raised him and how he became the man he is today. So my question to you is, how did you do it? Like, what is your secret? Because you were also a single mom.
I
for
was
a
a
lot of
single
your-
mom and I was working, and we all know that single moms don't get the kind of pay that they should. And
Do they not?
You know what? If you're going into anybody to make money, stop.
yeah. So the hours were long,
Yeah.
and there were times, especially with my youngest son, because he was so angry, he missed his dad so much.
Yeah, he was going through a lot.
I was just there, and he was angry at me because he'd rather.
Well, he
had
didn't
me
have anyone
out
else
there.
to
You
be
were
angry
the
at
only
either.
one he could
Yeah.
be angry at. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how it was for my
Well,
brother as well.
Yeah. Well, they're angry, and who's left?
Right.
So you take the brunt of it. There would be times I'd be in the living room with my computer open, and I'd be looking at boarding schools, military schools, anything that would help him or straighten him out or come between us.
Right.
And then I'd look at the cost and I'd say, okay, this is not going to happen because I can't afford that. And I don't want him to leave me.
Right.
Right.
And
Then
so-
you have to deal with the whole thing about him leaving.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I said, the only thing that's going to get this through, all of this, is love.
Yeah.
Oh.
Pure, simple love. And I can't get bitter about.
Do you remember your turning point? Was there a specific moment that you realized, you know what? I'm not going to send him away. We are going through this together.
Mm-hmm.
Probably some Christmases when it
Okay.
was just us.
Mm-hmm.
Older kids were gone,
Mhm.
and it was just us. And we'd go to the Marriott and have a Marriott dinner,
Oh.
and then go see a movie.
Oh, so
love
there's
that.
you were starting traditions.
And so, yeah, that is a
Nice.
tradition. And we did it here in Colorado. One of my friends got sick. We did it in San Diego. And it was just that moment of just spending time together.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I also did it every Sunday. We'd go for a ride in the mountains. And he'd say, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to talk to you. I say, that's okay.
You just
I
have
said,
to get
"I'm
in the
gonna
car. You don't
drive."
have to talk.
Yeah.
You don't have to talk. But guess what? After about a half an hour, he'd wake up and he'd start telling me stories, start telling me about the teachers, telling me some funny stories of how he got in trouble. And it was like,
Oh,
it was like so hysterical.
Right.
I would just like, really, you did that? And they didn't call me that time?
Right.
Because they called me all the time.
Yeah.
Oh,
I got to know all of the principals really well.
well,
Yeah.
you know, you were really in your son's
And I
life.
was there.
You
I was
were.
there, and I was
Right.
in the office with him. And one of the principals, when we left to go to Saudi, she actually came and she kissed me, and she said, it was rough. This was middle school. It was rough, but she said we're going to get through it, and it's going to be a great story, and it was.
It really is.
When he
Well, yeah.
graduated from college, his first, I gave him the invitations. There were so many I thought who we were going to invite,
Yeah.
and this was college because he didn't graduate from high school.
Mm-hmm. You guys.
And he had to get his GED,
Mm-hmm.
but he passed at the top 2%.
Right. Right.
And so this is college, and the principal that I just spoke of in middle school got one invitation.
Oh.
John Elway got an invitation because John Elway met my
Youngest.
youngest when he was 10
All
years
right.
old.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And they were in a cart together. My youngest father took his picture, And from then on, he was just a fan, and he watched him all the
Oh
time.
gosh, I bet.
Got a letter back saying, I can't come to the graduation.
No way.
I want to tell you how proud I am of
Oh
you
my gosh.
for all of the things that you accomplished.
I did not know this. That's
And gave him a picture, and his older brother has it in a safe in his house. his younger brother doesn't.
Older
have
brother
it.
looking out for younger brother.
say.
You're a little too young for this. Let me take this and keep it safe. How adorable.
And so it still sits there.
That's so
One of
neat.
these days we'll get it framed, but
And
it was
that's
the most
great.
beautiful letter.
I
and
bet.
John Elway
oh
did that.
God, that probably made such a big impact in his life too.
Yeah.
Just
Well-
getting that
So
one
John
little
Elway
letter.
is
Well,
the
that's-
kind of person that does that kind
That's
of thing.
that is
I
that type of
genuinely
person.
believe that he's a great guy.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah.
human.
Well, talking about graduating from college just sparked something because you share something in common with your daughter
About graduating.
about graduating.
Oh, yes.
So what was that? Do you want to share that with us? I think it's a great little story.
So I had a fire and destroyed most of my life, and it was a catastrophic. Left my house, and my car,
Oh.
everything,
Oh my God.
and eventually my career.
Mm.
So I was not doing very well. My daughter wanted to get her master's, and she said, I wanted to get a master's in nutrition. And she said, why don't you come to this school? They have some good programs. You can stay with me, and we'll go to this school. So we did, and we both got our master's on the exact same day,
Oh my
Nice.
gosh.
Congratulations.
20 minutes apart.
What did that
is so
feel
fun.
like to do it with your daughter? Was that just,
It was fun.
I mean, that had to have been a great mother-daughter moment, man.
It was a lot of fun. She walked first, and then
Yeah.
I walked,
Aw.
and it was like, I mean, who does that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's, really cool
that's what
to
I'm saying.
share
I
that
just wanted you to
experience.
share that story because
Yeah.
to me that's pretty unique.
Yeah, we did it together. My two oldest granddaughters watched her mother and her grandmother cross the stage together.
Which is, I
That
bet,
is
a pretty
so
powerful
cool.
message to
Yeah.
little girls.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is that you can do anything at any age.
Yes.
As
Yes.
I was a grandmother, and my oldest
Good
granddaughter
for
was
you.
like 14 years old,
Oh,
13
this is
years old,
awesome.
something like that. So
Oh, that is great. That's a great story.
it was fun,
That's-
and it helped me. I got a degree.
I was going to say, did it help because you were going through such a dark time? It sounds terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, it was healing. I healed myself. I got a master's degree. It was in health promotion, and I healed myself.
Well, good for you.
So I'm alive still.
Yeah. And you have your master's from it, and you got to experience that with your daughter,
Mm-hmm.
and your granddaughters got to witness that, and that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty
And my
awesome.
youngest son was there, so he
Oh,
witnessed
so your youngest
it
son
too.
came. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So it was.
Well, congratulations. That's an accomplishment.
a great day.
What'd you get your master's in?
It's health promotion, and it's about putting together programs for helping yourself heal, going through.
Which is ironic because that's what you were doing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what she meant.
and
To heal
that's
yourself.
why
like,
I
as she
picked
was
that.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to heal myself, if anything.
Yeah, and I ended up being the ambassador for the program chair of that particular program for 3 years.
Wow.
And she was like, it was very eye-opening to be kind of her ambassador and learn from her, because I didn't really know anything about health and prevention and taking care of yourself, and it had a lot to do with integrative medicine, so it wasn't just about Western medicine. So I
I
took
love
classes
that.
in meditation,
Yeah.
classes in aromatherapy,
Mm-hmm.
but I also got all of the Western, like how you put it together and the
Right.
research and the science,
Oh, wow.
so that you can do both. So I was always in the library. I was fascinated.
We're going to have
by
to
it.
hook you up with Mama T, or the nutritionist that comes on here. And
Yeah.
talks. You guys would have a lot
would
to
get a
talk
lot
about.
in
Yeah. That
Yeah,
would be
yeah.
interesting.
'Cause so now I follow Whole Foods and
Right.
do all kinds of things.
That is so cool. Well, I'm so glad you found that. And what a great choice for you. I mean, to be able to heal yourself. I mean, if you're paying for it, tuition anyway,
Yeah.
that's great. Do you think it's time for our 5 on the line?
I think it is time for our 5 on the line. So just for our new listeners and for our guests tonight, we do 5 on the line for at the end of every podcast. We ask our guest the same 5 questions. It's just we'll ask them real quick, and then whatever question you or whatever answer comes to your mind, you just throw it out there. So, and
Yeah.
we like to keep them family related, So
For right now, yeah.
yeah. So it's we're bringing it all back to family. So the first question we have is, what was your favorite family vacation? And this could be as you were growing up as a child, or it could be with your kids now, or your kids when they were younger.
Okay.
But gosh, that sounds like you've had a...
My sons and I had a Christmas, again, all alone. And my older son said, let's make our last family vacation remarkable.
Oh.
And we put all of our pennies together.
Why would have been your last? What was happening was...
my youngest was in his college.
Oh, okay.
first
So
year
you
of
guys
college,
you had your lives, and they were
his
growing up.
older son was dating.
You're right. Okay.
And,
It looked pretty serious.
yeah. So
Right,
we just said if
You
it
kinda
is, if
let's
it
make
is,
it great. We're going out with a bang.
Yeah. If it is, maybe
Okay.
we'll do. And we did other things later, but
Right,
this
right.
this
Oh, I
this
want to
one
hear.
is
Great.
the one. So we put all of our bonus points together from hotels and airlines, and so we took a flight and we went to Costa Rica, and it was
Nice.
just the three of us.
Nice.
And as we were flying we went to Drake Bay. As we were flying into there and the jungles beneath us, I said, I've done so much and I'm so lucky. And if this plane goes down right now, I'm going down with two of my favorite people.
Oh.
But that vacation was just unbelievable.
That's great.
Oh, I bet.
Back
yeah.
to Hong Kong, just real quick.
Okay.
Was that when Hong Kong airport was like? I heard horror stories about landing at Hong Kong airport because it was
My
like
first trip was
it
there.
was like you were going through the town on like
you
the
could see
skyscraper.
somebody watching TV.
That's what Poppy says, and I'm like, no way. I don't know what would have happened.
It's very dangerous.
Do you want to tell us about that Hong Kong airport?
Yes. So I was in Hong Kong. I belonged to a women's spirituality group,
Okay.
and they asked me to speak in Hong Kong, and that was in 1989.
Okay.
And we went to the old Hong Kong airport, and you could, when you were landing, as you were coming into the runways, the buildings were so close that you could see people dressing and watching TV.
Poppy said he saw someone taking a bath.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And these are big. These aren't little chartered planes. These are your big
Yep.
huge, like first class all the way back to economy planes.
It's
correct?
not that way anymore. They have a beautiful airport,
And he
but it's
said-
not as much fun.
He also said you would fly over and you would see planes that were down in the water. Like if you took off, you could see a couple planes that they hadn't gotten out of the water yet that didn't quite.
What?
That didn't stop.
Oh,
I guess because
yeah, the runway was
the runway
very
was
short.
And then he said there was a couple times he'd fly out of there and he'd look down and goes, "Oh, they haven't gotten that plane out of there yet."
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a
anyway.
wonderful, wonderful place.
I know, but
And I
I'm glad.
loved
And that
living there
airport's
for
not there
almost
anymore.
a
But I
year.
just wanted to
Yeah.
clarify that's one of those things you hear and you just never forget. So on to
Crazy.
two, do you have a memory of when, with all the best intentions, the family vacation just fell apart to where it's kind of funny to you now, but it was not
Fell
successful.
apart.
No matter what, just didn't work.
I can't really think of one that really fell apart.
You know, and if you can,
And my oldest son once said to me, he said, "Your favorite city is a city you're in right then, isn't it?" And I said,
okay.
"Yes."
So you,
So I always
Oh,
look
I'm
for
the
the
same
good
way.
things.
I'm the
I always
same
look
way.
for the good things.
yeah.
It could
And
be
my
a
daughter
gross-
says
it
an
could be the grossest
adventure
city.
doesn't start until something goes wrong.
Oh, and that's what your
I
daughter.
say that too. Wow.
And
Yeah.
then here's okay. So
That's so funny.
those are things we need to live by. The first
we
one
need
was
to travel together.
you are living and loving every city or your favorite city. What was it that he
Yeah,
said?
my favorite city is
the city you're
I'm
in. And then your daughter said it's not an adventure till something goes wrong.
Yeah, and I have lots of those.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're more fun and
But
Just tell us one.
you
Tell us
gotta
one where it
make it
just
a
kind of
good
went wrong.
Situation, you know.
Yeah.
Tell us where, in the great words of Matthew McConaughey, tell us when you had to pivot on vacation. Like, come up with plan B because this isn't working.
so we're all of us. My
Youngest
son's dad.
Yep.
And my daughter.
Favorite daughter.
My favorite daughter in Germany. And, all the kids. And myself. And so we were landing in Germany. And it was the first time for all of us to be together in Germany.
Okay.
And we don't know how to get out of the airport. And so we're trying to get out, and there's somebody there that knows Arabic, and we have 2 Arabic speakers in the car. And then favorite daughter is talking to her friends while we're trying to do this, so she's not available to speak.
Right, for this translation that you desperately need to get going.
So it was my youngest son's father who was like finding somebody and found somebody that could speak to us and tell us, oh, just turn around and turn right.
Right. But it was almost like, what are we going to do? Like, why is this not working out?
And so the brothers are laughing because the daughter is speaking on the phone to her friends instead of helping us out of the airport.
Right. The one person that you need.
Yeah, the one person you really need. I'm sorry, but I have something else going on. Yeah. Okay, number 3.
Who was your role model growing up, and has that changed, and why?
My role model. There was a woman that was, she was the mother to my best friend in elementary school. And she was very, very, very brilliant. And she, I asked her to be my confirmation sponsor. And to this day, she was my mom's real good friend. And to this day, I still think about her. And like I said, I belonged to this women's spirituality group. And she was a leader in that group. And she always thought like critical thinking.
Yeah, that's
to make you want to do more. She was like a sportswoman. She was a skier. She still skis. She's 92.
Wow, no way.
She's
92.
Her children are absolutely amazing. One of her sons was a founder of the Yard, that restaurant called the Yard. Yeah, he was one of the founders.
No way.
Her daughter, my age, is
if you hear any sniffing, that's
attorney.
puppy Pablo.
And so she just had a way. So she was my example of raising children, helping other people, being an activist, and looking for social justice when people weren't looking for social justice. And every time I think of her, it just brings a smile to my face.
Oh, I'm
right.
sure.
Yeah.
So this is going to be hard since you're holding your new little puppy Pablo in your lap. But who was your favorite childhood pet? And do you remember? Like, did you have a childhood
Pablo.
pet? Yeah, don't listen. But
I'll cover his.
But it was when you were a childhood. But do you have a fond memory of a childhood pet?
I don't know if it was a fond memory. I remember. I had a dog. Yeah. My thing is dogs.
Right.
My favorite daughter, hers is cats. So we always had cats. So I've become fond of cats. And her name was Susie. And she got out of the yard and she got hit by a car. But my parents told me that she ran away.
So Susie actually helped you come to terms with some pretty harsh realities about life,
and people.
And people.
Some people want to hide the truth, and some people
and there you go.
will tell you.
And I think this
out.
is the spirit her son talks about when the city you're in is your favorite city. Like, you're going to find the good, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And then the very last question is, we just like to ask this: what's the last song you listened to, like, on your playlist, or last song?
Oh, Counting Stars by One Republic.
Okay.
I hadn't heard it.
You are our quickest. Ding, 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 ding. Like you win a prize or something. You're our quickest person to answer that.
Yeah, no one can ever answer. They have to check.
And I hadn't listened to my music for a long time.
Right, okay.
And yesterday I pulled up my Spotify.
Okay.
And I said, One Republic.
Hey, next time you're on Spotify, you can pull us up too if you want.
Okay.
Yeah. Dirty Laundry, Clean Confessions. You can pull us up on Spotify. Yeah. If you want.
Absolutely.
If you want.
Oh, Michelle, thank you so much.
Thank you. And do you have another story? I mean, you have so many stories, and you've led such a wonderful life and incredible career and everything. Is there anything else you want to share with us, or a funny thing you want to share with us before we leave, or serious, or anything? What do you want to share?
Well, I would tell people to follow their dreams. And one thing that we were talking about earlier was manifesting. And you can manifest anything. When I was a single mom with my older 2 children, we didn't ever go on a vacation because their father didn't believe in taking us because he traveled all the time. So every Friday, I would make a meal from a different country. And I said, one day we're going to see these places. One day we're going to be there. I didn't know it was going to take so long, but we did it, and we traveled all around the world together.
And
it started with those little dinners on Friday night.
And it's just, you're an extraordinary person. I mean, think about that. Like, you are native 6th generation to Colorado, yet you have lived and experienced all around the world.
It was fun. I didn't know. I just started making dinners on Friday.
And that is, you didn't know, but you were starting your manifestation in such a positive way, it couldn't help.
And I think that's what it is. Manifestation in a positive way.
Yeah. It's a powerful thing. It really is. You
really
did the
is.
same thing. I've done the same
thing.
Yeah.
And it's almost like the universe will start to scream at you.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna do this for, follow me along. You know, come on, Elle, you have made these dinners, and it's almost like the universe puts it in place for you to make it just that much easier to accomplish these things.
I got Betty Crocker's International Cookbook.
There you go. That's all you need. That's all you need.
And started a cook. And I was really depressed and sad at that time because it was just the three of us.
Right. Well, yeah.
And we didn't have anything.
But what a great thing to do.
So I just did what I could. You have to cook. You have to make dinner. Yeah. And you can tell the stories of that country while you're doing it.
That is such a great idea. That is just
great idea.
That is. I love that.
Doing that.
I love that. So, hey, Monk and Little Al, if you're listening and you have a family.
That's my little tidbit of how we got around the world.
What a great idea. Yeah. You remember that, Monk and Little Al. That's a great idea to introduce into a family. What a great idea.
Yeah, it's so
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for having me.
And hey, I hope you want to come back because we love to have our guests come back. And I'm sure you just have so much. And this has been wonderful. Wonderful.
Anytime. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Smart.
Yeah, and Haas. Yeah,
and thank you, Haas.
Thank you. Bring your little puppy anytime.
Yeah, Pablo is.
We love Pablo.
Adorable. He is adorable.
So
thank you again, and
thank you. This was a lot of fun.
And thanks, you made our colors a little brighter, and our
talked about some of these things.
I mean, our whites a little whiter, and we're happy in the laundry room.
Yeah, I love the laundry room.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Well, we can't wait to have you back and have great adventures in between.
Thank you.
Okay. Hey, before we wrap up this spin cycle, Haas and I would like to give a quick shout out to those listeners who may be famous. We really do adore you, and even though you do not qualify as an NTRG, not the real guest, we would always love to hear from you. This is Smarge and Haas, keeping it sorted, keeping it real, from the family laundry room. Be safe, stay even, and remember, when in doubt, go half.
Thank you for listening to Dirty Laundry Clean Confessions. Follow us on Instagram at Dirty Laundry Clean Confessions. And if you would like to be the next Not the Real Guest, please email us at dirtylaundrycleanconfessions@gmail.com. We would love to air out the dirty laundry with you. A DLCC disclaimer. In this live pre-recorded episode of DLCC, Not the Real Names, NTRN, have been used to protect the guilty and a few of the innocent.